All right, in this course we are going to be examining. I'm gonna go through some things that we're going to be doing. We're going to be examining the world events, and this is going to be modern world history. So we're going to examine events from the 1600s up into the present, and we're going to have a emphasis on Europe. Mainly, but we'll look at other areas as well. It is world history, but you'll be studying a lot of this content next year in American history, obviously more from the American perspective, but we're going to look at the American perspective as well. The first major thing we're going to talk about is the Age of Enlightenment. Age of Enlightenment started with the scientific revolution, basically where they just challenged everything. Instead of just accepting the way things were done, they started to challenge all previous beliefs to figure out the best way to do things. And then that's going to spill over into society, into politics. Like, hey, maybe having an absolute government isn't the best way, or having a specific economic system, maybe that's not the best way. How can we make this better? And women are going to start to fight for their rights during this time. Instead of just accepting, like, oh, we're second-class citizens, they're going to start to be like, no, that doesn't make sense. All right, we're just the same. We should have more rights. We should have more say. But more importantly, the Age of Enlightenment is going to, I shouldn't say more importantly, but it is going to inspire two massive revolutions that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the American Revolution and the French Revolution. And we're not going to focus on those revolutions per se. We're going to focus on how the Enlightenment inspired those revolutions. So the focus is going to be on the Enlightenment, on how it inspired those revolutions, what Enlightenment ideas they had. And then that's going to spill over into, we're going to talk about then the next revolution. It's kind of just a drastic change. We're going to get into the Industrial Revolution. These were changes in how the government functioned. The Industrial Revolution is a change in how just our whole society functions. Instead of being mainly farming, now we have industrial-made goods, mass-produced goods. So it's a drastic change. The Industrial Revolution is probably the most significant change in human history, because for thousands and thousands of years, people just farmed. That was their main occupation. And now, all of a sudden, we have factories popping up and mass-produced goods. And that's going to have a whole bunch of negative problems as well. But it will have positive ones also. And as a result of the age of industrialization, people need more stuff. They need more resources. So they're going to start going and taking over other areas. And that's where imperialism is going to come in. Where they're going to go and start taking over other areas, getting their resources, using it for the factories, selling goods there. So we're going to have this era of countries wanting to go out and take over other areas so they can get more stuff. And then that'll lead to all sorts of conflict. We're going to talk about World War I. Imperialism plays a part in that. Bad blood between countries. We're going to talk about World War II. Because you can't, obviously, World War I is going to be a result of imperialism and other factors as well we'll talk about. But World War II is going to be a direct result of what happened in World War I. I mean, you can't, the reason why World War II happened is because of how they handled the peace of World War I. All right, you're going to hear me talk about the Treaty of Versailles ad nauseum. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, stop talking about the treaty. But it plays such a huge role in why, like Hitler, comes to power. And then we're going to get into the Cold War after that. So we're going to fight in World War II. If you don't know who we fought with in World War II, we fought with the Soviet Union. Not initially, but later on we will, because the Germans, we have a common enemy in Adolf Hitler, and so we fight with the Soviets in World War II. And then afterward, we fight basically against the Soviets in this time of Cold War, where we're trying to show that free democratic nations with capitalist economies are better than communist nations. And so we're going to start building up nuclear weapons and pointing them at each other. And this is going to be the closest the world is going to come to an all-out nuclear war. And the reason why that happens, obviously, if you don't know how World War II ended with the dropping of atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. All right, and then if we got time, we will get into post-Cold War events. After the Cold War is over, we will get into the expansion of human rights. We'll get into disputes, ethical, cultural conflicts, active terrorism, advances in technology. A lot of times we end at the Cold War. Sometimes we can get past it. So it doesn't seem like that much, but believe me, there's a lot packed into these. All right, and so we're going to do a ton of this. You can see this is highlighted. Every unit we have, we're going to be doing a project. You're going to be doing some work. Every unit we do, there's going to be some kind of a project that you're going to do, and it'll be fun. I'll make it fun. I'll try to make it fun. You're only going to have as much fun as you want to have with it, I guess. But I'll try to give you a variety of options. But we're going to be doing stuff in this class. We're going to have a lot of projects. We're going to take some tests. A lot of our notes are going to be graded on Edpuzzle. But we will have so your notes are going to be taken. Just to give you an overview on how your notes will be. Your notes will be on video. That way, if you miss a day, you'll always have access to it. If you forget something, you'll always have access to it. And then if you want to, and then when we get to the point where we do projects off the notes, you know, most of the time I'll give you a chance to do individual or partners or something, and then after that we take tests. All right, this is every unit's going to be laid out pretty similarly, all right, with just some obviously slight variation. So that's the overview of what this class is going to be like. I wanted to give you guys a little practice at using Edpuzzle, and we'll have some fun this year if you want to. All right.